What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we cover another deck used at the Frankfurt Regionals, and that deck, of course, as you guys can see via the title and what you guys are looking at on the screen, is Passimian. So this deck was piloted to a top 32 spot, and you may wonder how. Well, the thing is, it's not the first time it's seen some play. Passimian variants have popped up in the past and have done well, and now it seems to be back in a strong way. So back when Sun and Moon base set first dropped, people were playing Passimian with Mew from Fates Collide, because Mew can take advantage of using Passimian's attack to its full extent. Then Passimian from Ultra Prism came out and just added pretty much the beef to what Passimian was missing to hit the right numbers. Now we have that going for us here. So Passimian seems to be back in a really good positioning in the meta right now, since single prized attackers kind of seems to be what people are looking into. So it looks pretty good. Looks really good right now. So before we get started with today's deck profile, I'd like to remind y'all that I do have a Twitter and would love if you guys followed me on Twitter. Of course, should be popping up on the screen somewhere. And of course, it's going to be in the description below, so you guys can check that out as well. But without further ado, let's get started. So Passimian, we're playing two Passimian from Sun and Moon base set, 110 HP fighting type. First attack is Fling. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. You don't apply weakness and resistance for the bench Pokemon. The main attack of Passimian is going to be Team Play. For 2 colors, it does 10 plus. This attack does 30 more damage for each of your benched Passimian. Weak to Psychic, and it has a 1 retreat cost. So the Psychic part is going to be kind of rough because there is a lot of Malamar variants running around. Necrozma, Dawnwing, stuff like that. But we benefit from us being only a 1 prize attacker deck. So we don't have to pretty much run into that issue too much, or run at a disadvantage too much with that. Then we also playing 2 Passimian from Ultra Prism, 110 HP, fighting type of course. This is the beef that I was talking about earlier. It adds to Passimian's attack. Power Huddle. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your Passimian's attack do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, of course, before applying weakness and resistance. Its attack is okay. It's not too it's not too bad, but it's not the greatest. Rock Hurl for 1 fighting and 1 colorless does 40. This attack damage isn't affected by resistance. To be quite honest with you, you're not going to be using this to attack. This is pretty much going to be a bench sitter for you, because your Sun and Moon based Passimian is going to be the main attacker. If you absolutely have to, I guess you can with this guy, but trust me, the other Passimian from Sun and Moon is going to be your main attacker. Then we are playing 1 copy of Oranguru, 120 HP, and we have him here for the Instruct ability. Once during your turn before you attack, you may draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. You're like, what if you have a huge hand? Well, the thing is, you can always play down your hand so you can instruct, so you can take advantage of drawing cards. And it has great synergy with Magcargo. So we are playing a 2-2 line from Slugma and Magcargo. Magcargo's here for Smooth Over. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a card, shuffle your deck, then put that card on top. So say, for example, you have 2 cards in hand, and you smooth over whatever you need. Instruct's going to get that 1 card that you just smooth over. So it has great synergy with each other. Then we're playing 4 copies of Tapu Koko, 110 HP, Lightning type. It's really here for Flying Flip. 2 colorless, this attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance for bench Pokemon. Weak to fighting, resist metal. This card is the best starter in this deck, because you want to chip away at everything on the board. So your Passimians, when they're ready to come in, they can start knocking things out left and right. And you're not too afraid from having 2 Kokos getting knocked out. Using 2 Kokos. Or using 3 even if you have to, because you're going to be putting in the damage with Flying Flip to everything on the board. It's going to put pressure on your opponent. They're going to want to Acerola, Max Potion, and things like that. And because of the things like Acerola, Max Potion, kind of puts them in a disadvantage, because they're pretty much resetting to pretty much continue the game. But the thing is, with Tapu Koko, it's going to continue doing Flying Flips for 20s here and there, here and there, here and there. It's going to be putting the damage on the board. Then we're going to play 1 copy of Tapu Lele, 110 Fairy type. Psywave is the first attack. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then Magical Swap. One fairy and one colorless. Move any number of damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon to their other Pokemon in any way you like. This move is ridiculously good. This card was supposed to come out as a Psychic type, and it eventually did. And it's so good because with Flying Flip, you're putting damage everywhere. And if specific cards need a certain amount of damage to get knocked out, with Magical Swap, you can pretty much move any of the damage that your opponent has on any other Pokemon to anything else. So say for example, they have something like a Passimian on their side of the field, and they have 100 damage, and they have like another Passimian that has, I don't know, 30 damage. You can move bits of the 30 damage HP Pokemon to the 100 damage one and knock it out. You know, things like that. You start taking out combo pieces, take advantage of all the XP, or all the, not the XP, all the damage that's on board, and move it any way you'd like. And that's how you get the knockouts, which is really, really great. And then the last Pokemon that we're playing is Mimikyu. 70 HP, Psychic type. Filch, draw 2 cards for 1 colorless. Copycat for 1 Psychic, 1 colorless. If your opponent's Pokemon used an attack that isn't a GX attack during their last turn, use it as this attack. So think about like a righteous beating. Your opponent just righteous beating. Why don't you do that back to them with a 1 prize attacker? Or, I don't know, I can't think of anything really else. You wouldn't want to copy Rayquaza's move. It's not going to do anything. Maybe like a Tapu Bulu, maybe? You want to copy like one of Tapu Bulu's attacks? Maybe? I don't know. You can do this pretty much on anything. You can copy your opponent's attack as long as it's not a GX attack, which is really, really great. No weakness, no resistance, and it has a 1 retreat cost. So that's it for our Pokemon lineup there. And then for supporters, we're going to start off with, for Lily, draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. And if it's your first turn, draw cards until you have 8 cards in your hand. So you're going to be playing your hand down quite a bit because there's quite a bit of cards you can do that with. And taking advantage of drawing cards with Lily. Then 4 copies of Guzma. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active, and if you do, switch your active with one of your benched. Really, really great switch card, and it does it for your opponent's side. So if they have something on their bench that has some damage, or they're getting set up and you need to knock it out, Guzma is your best bet. Then we're playing 2 copies of Professor Kukui. Draw 2 cards. During this turn, your Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So maybe Passimian's not hitting the right numbers. Maybe you're missing out just a little bit. Professor Kukui is here to help out with that. 2 copies of Cynthia. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 6 cards. It's your standard shuffle draw effect. And then Judge. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck and draws 4 cards. Also a shuffle draw effect, this time affecting both players. So it can also kind of work like a disruption. Your opponent may have a lot of cards in hand. They might be coming off of a Tempest GX or maybe something like a Big Wheel GX. Judge is going to put a brutal end to that. Also, maybe if you're playing against something like Sylveon that we covered on Monday earlier this week, and they Magical Ribbon, you can go ahead and Judge to put whatever they just searched and put it back into the deck and draw 4 new cards. So Judge is here for a little disruption, and also if you do need to draw, it's a great draw supporter here as well. But that's it for our supporter lineup. And then I mentioned earlier how we're talking about single prized attackers. This is the one stadium all single prized attackers are, the decks based on single prized attackers is taken advantage of. Shrine of Punishment. Between turns, put 1 damage counter on each GX and EX Pokemon. So you're playing against something like Necrozma GX, Donalwing's Necrozma GX, Dustmane Necrozma GX, Metagross GX. You just start putting damage here and there, and it kind of accumulates, especially on their Tapu Leles. They kind of sometimes let their Tapu Leles sit on the bench with so much damage where Passimian can come in and swoop in on the KO. And then for items, we're going to start with 4 Ultra Ball. Discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand. Then we're playing 4 Nest Ball. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench. So basically, we're playing all basics minus them Cargos. We're playing 4 copies of Acrobike. Look at the top 2 cards. Put one of them into your hand and discard the other one. Really great card. Like I said earlier, you kind of want to play down your hand to play stuff like Lily. Great card to do and to take advantage of. 3 copies of Rescue Stretcher, 2 different effects. you get to choose. Put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, or shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. Think about it like grabbing your Passimians from Ultra Prism. You need to hit the right numbers with your Passimian Sun and Moon, and maybe you have an Ultra Prism Passimian in the discard pile. You put that from the discard to your hand to the bench, and it gets the right numbers for your Passimian to get the knockouts on what you need. 1 copy of Switch. Switch your active Pokemon on your bench. Maybe they might want to Goosebump something to try to like get it stuck there. Maybe we might have an actual bad start where we get like a Slugma or Rangaroo start, and we want to switch it with something like a Tapu Koko. That 1 switch is great. Then 1 copy of Enhanced Hammer. Discard a special energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Rainbow energies are flying around all over the place. Counter energies, I guess you can say, are running around all over the place. Double colorless running around all over the place. And with really only like 1 or 2 cards in the format that can actually recycle things back from the discard pile into your hand, considering energies as well. So like Oranguru Research Management is one of them. There's not really much to get your stuff back, especially energies. So Enhanced Hammer is going to be there to help us out quite a bit. And speaking, before we get into energies, let's talk about this guy. We always have this guy hiding on the bottom of our list. Choice Band, 3 copies of Choice Band. Attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 30 more damage to your opponent's active GX or EX Pokemon. So, like I mentioned, a bunch of GX, EX Pokemon running around. Well, just GX now in the format. Metagross, Sylveon, I guess maybe Glaceon every now and then. People try to make that a thing. All that's still running around. Choice Band's just giving us 30 extra damage, so our team plays can hit the right numbers. And then, speaking of energies that we were talking about a little bit earlier, this deck plays nothing but special energies. So we fall victim to the Enhanced Hammers that our opponents can be playing. We're playing 4 copies of double colorless energy. It pretty much provides 2 colorless energies for our team play and flying flips. Counter energy. This card provides 1 colorless energy. If you have more prize cards remaining, basically meaning you're losing the game, and this card is attached to a Pokemon that isn't a GX or an EX, which all our Pokemon are single prize attackers, not GX or EX. This card provides every type of energy, but only provides 2 at a time. So this is going to be great for our Magical Swap, our Copycat, our Team Play. So it's going to be great card. And then we're playing 1 copy of Rainbow Energy. This card provides colorless energy. While in play, this card provides every type of energy, but provides only 1 energy at a time. When you attach this Pokemon from your hand to one of your Pokemon, put 1 damage counter on that Pokemon. So that's the list that got top 32 at Frankfurt Regionals, and I think it's pretty fun. I've been playing it. As soon as I make these decks, I play it, test it out. Hence the reason why I'm going to be dropping some gameplay videos very soon. But it's really fun deck. Really fun deck to play. And surprisingly, it did really well. So it just kind of like puts the icing on the cake. It's a pretty fun deck, and it still plays really well. Kind of can fight the format. So I think it's pretty good. I think it's really good. But it looks like that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Recently, I thought about this channel and what I can provide for you guys. And what I came up with is to continue these deck profiles. You know, after every regional, deck profiles I make myself, you know. I continue making these because I like them. I enjoyed this. It's a little informative. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. I had kind of stopped doing gameplay videos just because I never had the time to, but I want to come back and start recording gameplay videos for you guys, just so you guys can see how the deck runs. I'm not going to do Steelix and Wailord. I think I learned that lesson the hard way trying to do that like off screen. It's not going to happen, but decks like this, maybe even Sylveon, Buzzwole, Shrine, all those different decks, I want to make gameplay videos and see how they form up against different decks in the meta. But I also want to cover TCG news and product. And I want to get some IRL games going as well. So when I say cover TCG news and product, I'm talking about whenever new stuff gets announced, whenever like sets are supposed to come out, how the artwork looks, promos that we're gonna get, things like that, things of that nature. I want to cover that stuff because it seems like it's gonna be really fun to do something like that. I want to bring this channel a little bit more activity. not just deck profiles. I want to be more informative to the community and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy stuff that I'm going to be putting out with that. Because if you're excited for things like that, I want you guys to take advantage of the notification bell to stay notified whenever I drop new videos. Because this weekend, I'm going to start it this weekend, I should be releasing a video covering Dark Order, which is a set that dropped in Japan maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. And I want to go in and cover the entire set with pretty much my thoughts on the set, covering the cards, which ones are good and which ones are bad. And I think it's going to be pretty fun. I really hope that it is, to be honest. So if you guys enjoyed the video, thank you guys for watching. That's it for me today. Peace.